Hello and welcome to today's Table Talk Show. Thank you so much for being here today. It's actually been what I actually wanted to. I don't know. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Chidi?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello, can I be here?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
Yes,
you.
I
I can
can.
hear
I
you.
can. Hi. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Table Talk Show. I'm so happy to have the both of you here. This is actually the first time I'm having a table talk show section, and I don't have a female here with me. It's heartbreaking, but then I'll pass. So, welcome, Mr. Chidi Nwaogu and Mr. Trust Onyekwere. I'm so honored to have the both of you here today in this live section. So, let's start by making a formal introduction. So, my name is Shulamite John. Shulamite Joyful John, but I prefer being called Shulamite John. I am the founder and the CEO of FemCode Africa. So FemCode Africa is a tech education company that train young females in Africa with tech skills, and we get them employed after the training. And so yeah, I'm also the founder of the Table Talk Show, Shula's TTS, which is Shula's Table Talk Show. And I'm so happy to have the both of you here. So let's start from Mr. Chidi. Can you just introduce yourself quickly so that we can dive in?
Yeah, I'm Chidi, and a tech entrepreneur and software developer, and I'm one of the founders of Publish here. It's a digital content distribution company that works with independent creatives and just help them to focus on the creating
Okay, your
process.
line is breaking. I don't know. Mr. Trust, can you hear him?
My line is
Mr.
Yes, I can
breaking.
Trust,
hear
did
him.
you hear him?
Yes, I can hear
Or
him
am I just
clearly.
the only person? Your line
Yeah,
is breaking, Mr. Chidi. Can you go again?
yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm Chidi, and a tech entrepreneur and software developer, and one of the founders of Publish here, a digital content distribution company that helps independent African creatives to focus on the creating process. And then we handle the business of transforming creativity into wealth for them. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. We're happy to have you too. Mr. Trust on your query, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Trust Nwaogu, co-founder of Rat5 Academy, a developer, but currently more like a tech career coach focused on personal branding for developers. So recently authored a book called Code is Not Enough to help developers distribute, market themselves effectively. So at Academy, our focus is to help undergraduates and job seekers become employable using digital technology. So that's in summary who I am and what I focus my time to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Thank you, Mr. Chedi, and thank you, Trust Onyekwere, for being here. So let us ride in because we just have 50 minutes or less to kind of answer the questions we have here, and then we'll go forward. So normally on Chula Stable Talk Show, what we do is we come up with a topic on entrepreneurship or business or tech. So we trash topics on business and on tech. So any questions we have for the week, we create something like if well, what will I say, a form where people get to say what they want to be asked, or what they want to ask the guest speaker coming on the show. And then yeah, so we have a couple of questions. We have 6 questions here that was asked, and persons will really want to know the answers to this question. So I don't know if I can be heard. Your both cameras are off. Can any of you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
yeah, so welcome. Welcome back. So the first question I have here is, how can you define entrepreneurship? So I started off with Mr. Chidi first. I think we'll have to go with you first.
Yeah, that's a
So what's your
very
definition? Yeah,
that's a very weird question because it's does it, I'm really thinking if entrepreneurship has a concrete
the
definition. But to me,
definition.
entrepreneurship is more like when is solving a problem in a very innovative, unique, and sustainable way. So when you're able to solve a problem that your target customers have in a very innovative, profitable, sustainable, and yeah, that's entrepreneurship for me. But it must first start with a problem. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're not starting with a problem, then you're just a business person. So yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you from what you just said. So, most of the times, entrepreneurship is being defined. Business is actually added to entrepreneurship. So, are you trying to say that business is different and entrepreneurship is different?
Yeah, for me, it's quite different. A business person might not necessarily be an entrepreneur. A business person could just be someone who owns a grocery store, along the street, or someone who owns a barber shop. But an entrepreneur is someone who's doing it in an innovative way. It's not just the brick and mortar store or the regular way in which people are doing it. It's, an entrepreneur questions the norm and try to reinvent the wheel. So the moment you're doing things just the way it has been done, because that's the way you grew up watching things being done, you're just more like
Yeah.
a business person. But the moment you begin to innovate and you begin to search for new ways to do something, and then yes, then you can call yourself an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what I know. So, being innovative makes you an entrepreneur. So, Mr. Trust, what do you have to say about this? So, what's your own definition?
Yeah, I think it's almost it's the same. It's about solving a problem and having the boldness to ask for money while doing it, right? So you see a problem, and then you find a solution to it, and at the same time you're trying to make profit from it. That's part of entrepreneurship, right? So
Okay,
I
so I
think
have a
it starts with
question.
a problem. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a question for you. From what you just said, are you trying to say that okay, what if I have a problem I'm solving, but then I'm not asking for money? So does it make me less an entrepreneur? Does it make me a business person instead of being an entrepreneur? What do you have to say?
well, generally business, it's like exchange of product or service and money, right?
Sorry, yeah, yeah, exactly. So you're trying to say from what you just defined that if you have the courage to ask for money while solving the problem, that what makes you an entrepreneur, right?
That's
What
part of
about
it,
the
yes.
yeah, what about the NGOs, persons that don't ask for money while solving a problem? So are they not entrepreneurs?
Well, they ask for money in their own kind of way. I mean, of course, they need money to do their own charity work, either grants or, but money comes in one way or the other.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Chi, do you have anything to say?
Well,
Do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to talk about? Do you have anything to add?
yeah, there's we have social entrepreneurship. People
Yeah.
who are building
Okay, I think
something.
my network is terrible. Yeah,
Yeah, so social entrepreneurship, has proven that you can
can
also be an entrepreneur without having to directly, sell something to your end customers. Maybe you just, but regardless, in the not in the plain man or the layman understanding of entrepreneurship, you must be trying to make money, from the process so that it can stay sustainable. The moment you cannot sustain something, then I don't think it's entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurs also are also looking for a way to stay sustainable. Either they're thinking about donations or they're thinking about grants, but the key factor of an entrepreneur is that whatever you're doing, whatever means you're trying to build what you're doing, you have to make it sustainable in a way that it can feed back itself and continue going, without any external factor. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Are you on the same pitch with him, or
Yeah,
do you have
yeah,
any other
yeah.
thing to add?
No,
That's
it's
fine.
all the same. Yeah.
Okay. So the second question, I think we actually answered the second question here. I said, what makes someone an entrepreneur? So what makes someone an entrepreneur? So, Mr. Charles, let's go with you first. So what do you think makes someone an entrepreneur? Apart from being innovative, apart from, yeah, he mentioned it, Mr. Chidi mentioned it already. So apart from being innovative, is there any other thing that can actually make you an entrepreneur?
Well, one, it's the ability to take risk. Take risk. That's one, and of course the desire to solve problems. There are those who are comfortable with being entrepreneurs, like trying to solve problems within the organization and not having to take all the risk of going out on their own and starting. So they are okay with using the existing resources that they have to within the company to begin to solve problems. They're called entrepreneurs, right? But entrepreneurs are comfortable with moving out, like taking risks, quitting their jobs, they're moving this, there. So I think um, what makes someone an entrepreneur, apart from the first, there's a problem solving ability or the desire to solve problems. But then again, they also desire to take risk, uncertainty. You're not sure about this, but just know that this may or may not work. You're pushing, you're moving to it. I think that's one for me is a key factor to being an entrepreneur. I know that people that say that they're born entrepreneurs. Somehow, that is true in some cases, but I think someone can also begin to grow into being an entrepreneur due to certain factors or due to certain environments where she finds herself. But entrepreneurship, or those who are entrepreneurs, one, they're risk takers. They like uncertainty somehow, and they find ways to mitigate uncertainties, and they're just trying to push it and pushing, that one, problem solving, taking risk, pushing through uncertainties. That makes someone an entrepreneur to an extent.
Thank you. I have a question for
Yeah,
you, but
sorry.
before then, I have a question for you, but before then,
All right.
let me hear what Mr. Chidi has to say. So, Mr. Chidi, what do you have to say? So, apart from being innovative, so what do you have to say on that? What makes someone an entrepreneur?
Well, for me, it will be that person, if you have that lack of fear for failure, because entrepreneurship is something that you're going to fail at, multiple times. You're going to, because real life and paper are completely different. So when you draft a business plan on paper, it might make sense on paper, but then in real life, when you take it to market, you're going to learn the hard way. And an entrepreneur is
Exactly.
someone who, despite the reception, will just keep going. Just try,
Mm.
keep trying innovatively every time. I always say a good example of entrepreneurs. I don't know if you there's this cartoon that I used to watch when I grew, while growing up, Pinky and the Brain. And the reason why those guys explain to me what entrepreneurship is because constantly in every episode of the cartoon, they are constantly failing. They want to take over the world, but every day they are failing at taking over the world. And at the end of every episode, Pinky always asks Brain, "What are we going to do tonight?" And then Brain say, "Same thing we do every night, trying to take over the world." So that's what entrepreneurs are always trying to do. No matter how much they fail, they're always constantly still trying to achieve their mission or their vision, as entrepreneurs. So if you're that kind of person where you never take no for an answer, you lack fear for failure, you always embrace failure and you always try, to learn along the journey, then you're an entrepreneur, yeah. Because if you're the kind of person that rejection just sets you, back and you just say, okay, I don't think this is for me, then you can be an entrepreneur, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, can you hear me? Went off. Oh, why? My network is terrible. Hello, can I be heard?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me? Mm. Okay. Where's everybody? Uh, okay. Uh, okay.
Hi. Sorry. So sorry. I was kicked out. I don't know. All of a sudden, my network just went off, and yeah, I'm back. So sorry about that. Can I be heard? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Mr. Trust, can you hear me? Mr. Chidi, can you hear
Yes, I
me?
can.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Thank you. I was just having this feeling that you were hearing me, but from your facial expression, I didn't know if I should buy it or not.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. So I don't know, did we cut you short, Mr. Chide, or are you done?
No, you didn't cut me short. I was done.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me
perfect.
now?
Yeah, perfectly. Can you hear me? I can
I
hear
think
you.
it's
Can
your
you hear me, Mr.
network, sir.
Trust?
I can hear you. Yep.
Uh, you guys
I
can
think
hear
it's
me.
from his own end.
Okay. Can you hear me, Mr. Chidi? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think it's back now. Oh, it's off.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you guys perfectly. So it's crazy that you guys can hear
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh, so I don't know. I was asking, did I can hear I can hear you, but your line is breaking.
I'll try it. Let me try refreshing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
this is this is very funny. Oh my god, network. This is so funny right now. I can you hear me?
she's off too.
Your MTN is bad.
Mm. Yeah, can you hear me, Trust? Like to just be sure that my internet is
Yes,
good.
I can hear you.
Good. Okay.
I'm so shy right now. I don't know what happened, but seriously, good. Please, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so shy right now. I don't know. I was just being
Yeah.
kicked out. Like, I have an MTN and have an Etisalat, sorry, an Airtel network, and the both of them are just kicking me out. I don't know why. Just don't know why. So heartbreaking. So I'm back. I don't know. Can I be heard?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's just say that we are done answering the second question, and let's move forward to the third one. This is actually very said. Are there types of entrepreneurship? But before that, I said I was going to ask you a question, Mr. Trust. You said something. You mentioned two types. You said entrepreneur, and I didn't really get the other listen. So can you just help me out? So
All right.
that was my question was
Uh,
from. Yeah.
okay. Entrepreneurship with an I, that's IN, and entrepreneurship with an EN. So, entrepreneurs are those who are innovating within an organization, right? So they're using the resources of the organization, the company that they're in, to build new solutions, to innovate within that organization. While entrepreneurs are creating new businesses, new companies, new this. So they are operating outside that space, while entrepreneurs are operating within an organization. That's basically the difference.
Oh, thank you very much for explaining that. So now for based on what we've been talking, what do you think we've been talking about? Is it entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship? So which one exactly? Mr. Trust, back to you.
Entrepreneurship with an EN,
Okay, entrepreneur.
entrepreneurship.
Yes, entrepreneurship. Okay, so I just want to be sure that all your definitions are in line with what we're actually talking about. So for the entrepreneurships, how many types do you think that we have? I'm starting with Mr. Chidi. So how many types?
I
Okay, the
have no
laugh.
idea.
It's the laugh for
Uh,
me.
uh, I
Okay,
believe
so
it's just for profit and non-profit entrepreneurship. It's either you're trying to make money or you're not trying to make money. Because I believe that these days,
Yeah.
both type of entrepreneurship are constantly thinking about impact. Everybody's always thinking about how they can make the lives of their customers better. So I think it's either you're making money or not making money. It's either you're focused on making money, right, or you've not focused on making money. So it's either for profit or non-profit. Um,
non-profit.
for me, I don't know any other type of entrepreneurship. I don't believe these textbook things. So yeah.
Okay, you're actually a very practical person. Yeah, I know that. I've been following you a lot, and yeah. So, Mr. Justin Unyekwere, what you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's actually the same for me. I think the not-for-profit side is for social entrepreneurship. Then the for-profit side for the startup, the large-scale companies. But I think I wouldn't entirely, remove small business people out of the entrepreneurship circle somehow. I still believe that as a, pot- as still a place for them, So it can be, so there are those who are entrepreneurs in a way, but like those who found startups like the Paystack guys, the Google guys, like they are large scale companies. These are entrepreneurs. But there are those who don't want to go to that extent of being that big. They want to remain small. Why like a modest kind of business or building a company that just small and modest. So they could be solving a problem within a locality. They could be solving a problem within a small space. But they're not like big scalable startup as it were. So I would still give them a space within the entrepreneurship, cycle and say, probably we have it's like Mr. Chidi said, it's just two types practically, for profit and not for profit. So if you can break them down, we say we have small business entrepreneurship. We could have what's the word, startup entrepreneurship, and then we have social entrepreneurship. But give and take, they're all for profit or not for profit.
Yeah, thank you. So, for Mr. Chidi, this goes to you. You said there are two types of entrepreneurship, um, profit and non-profit. Yeah, I accept, no doubt in that. But don't you think that you just saying profit and non-profit actually limited it to um a kind of removing, will I say, excluding other types of entrepreneurship? Yes, we know that they are either making profit or not making profit, but you actually generalizing it that way, and making them not visible. For example, I know there is something like hustlers, entrepreneurs. There are something like scalable entrepreneurs and something like that. So you actually generalizing it in profit and non-profit. What do you think about that?
Well, like I told you, I I don't believe in textbooks. What you're telling me now is textbook. Maybe
Okay.
you're somewhere hustler entrepreneurship and then scalable entrepreneurship. I'm just a very practical person. It's so maybe hustler entrepreneurship is something I've never heard about it. I never read all these things. I believe in.
Okay.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. Obviously, you might have read it from somewhere that's very reputable, but I do not know if you ask me what hustler entrepreneurship is, I would first think about someone who is selling drugs on the street. That's what I'll be thinking. So I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the
Okay.
hustle.
Yeah, so maybe you're right. I don't know, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Thank you. So, Mr. Jones, what do you have to say about this? What do you have to say about
No,
this?
I think
What do you think?
I'm with Mr. Chidi on this one. I mean, practically, I mean, like in the real world, in the real entrepreneurship world, it's just those who are making money and those who are not
And
making
those who are
money.
not
It's
making
just
money. That's
so.
just
I
it.
mean,
Got scared. Nothing
it's
else.
just
I
it.
do nothing else. I must. Any other thing
That's just
outside
it.
it is their own business. But for you, is either you're making money or you're not making money. And that's the two
Yeah.
ties that we all know. Okay, that's fair enough. I think I can buy that. That's fair enough. Okay. That's actually very funny to me. Okay, so okay, someone is asking, is she actually? She said, are there schools or courses someone can take or join before becoming successful in the field? What do you have to say? Mr. Chid, let's go with you. So what do you have to say?
Mm, to be
Yeah.
sincere with you, the real life experience in entrepreneurship, you have to go out there. You know, like I told you earlier, it can look good on paper, but in reality, it's just, pardon me, pardon my French, it's just total bullshit. So, the market will teach you the best, things about what you're doing. And so if you sit in you get into an accelerator program and they teach you everything, business model, canvas, lean model, everything, you feel like you're an entrepreneur. But then you create a business model and then you go out there and then so many factors against you. You run out of
Exactly.
money, customers are not responding, you're burning out very quickly, your churn rate is high, and you begin to ask you start
Yeah.
asking yourself questions like, but I learned business model canvas. I learned empathy mapping. I learned all these
Yeah.
things. All those things. I'm not saying they're bad. I went to Mest, and they
Yeah.
taught all these things. But the real life, is where it's in real life you experience entrepreneurship. So I would say go out there and fail very quickly. Fail very quickly. That's the best way to be an entrepreneur. Go out there, fail very quickly, and learn, know what works, know what doesn't work, then try again more intelligently, more informed. That's just the best way to be an entrepreneur. All these schools and stuff. At the end of the day, some people are textbook smart. They sound good on paper, and so when they tell you about the business on paper, it makes sense. But then the numbers are not corresponding to what they are saying. What's your traction like? How much customers have you acquired?
Yeah.
They
Yes.
don't get, then they start telling you things that you don't want to hear. So I would just advise, anybody that want to be an entrepreneur, just go out, move very fast, break things, learn fast, fail, iterate, pivot. That's just the way, that's the way out, go to the market.
Okay. Thank you. You mentioned something. Sorry, Mr. Trust. Before I come to you, I have to finish up with Mr. Chidi first. You said you are a graduate of MEST. Am I correct? I personally know that, but for those listening, you're a graduate of MEST, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that what you learned from that school helped you a lot to become what you are today?
See, I wouldn't rule messed out of my success story. That would be very bad.
Beautiful.
But like
Okay.
something I always say is that what mess taught me, because before Mest I had already created and sold two businesses. I think what
Wow.
Mest taught me was industry jargons. For example, I understood when I was losing customers, I understood that I was losing customers, but I did not know they were called churn rates. If somebody asked me what's churn rate, I have no idea what it is. If somebody asked me what's your burn rate like or what's your runway, I don't know what it is. But I understood these things because I know that I knew all these things as a business person, but I just didn't know the industry jargons. So what Mest taught me was, so when I speak to an investor is throwing all these industry words at me, I can understand it clearly and say it back to them. So that's what Mest taught me. It made me to align, my experience with what's, all these fancy words. And also Mest gave me this ability to, I think, this confidence. Before I got into Mest, I go in front of an investor to pitch, I'm always looking down, constantly looking down. So I knew how to build businesses, but I just didn't know how to sell it to an investor to put their money. But Mest taught me that. I when I got into Mest and I came out of Mest, I was more like a pitching machine. I can stand in front of even 5,000 persons and talk about my business without batting an eyelid, without having to stutter and just look straight into their eyes. I became confident to talk about what I do. So I think that's what Mest did for me. So it's still an important part of my story. But I would still say that I understood the fundamentals of entrepreneurship before I joined Mest. But Mest just made me a cooler entrepreneur, quote unquote. So that's what Mest did for me. Yeah. So it's still part of my story. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So, as much as you are encouraging persons to go out there to get to know things, to get to experience things, to pivot, to fail, and to do a whole lot of things, you're also encouraging them to actually get to learn the fancy words, like you said in your words, the fancy names and the fancy words, right?
Yeah. Sometimes
And
if you don't speak the fancy words, nobody wants to. They feel like you don't
exactly,
know what you're talking about. Yeah. So sometimes it's
exactly.
important.
So yeah, so exactly. So for us to learn those fancy words and fancy names, we have to go to somewhere to learn them.
Or you
Either
can
you're
learn them
learning on
on
your
YouTube.
own. Uh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
You can learn
Okay,
them on YouTube. Literally, YouTube has
I get.
everything.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're doing. Yeah. Um. y- I graduated from a business school, anyways. Future Female Business School. I don't know if you've heard of it. In partnership with UK Tech Hub. So I got it for that late last year, well, I say middle of last year. So before the business school, the truth is I've actually been running Femcode Africa since 2019, October 3rd, and this October is going to be our 2 years, and we are celebrating our anniversary soon. So before that, I already have an idea of what business is and how to run around it, how to walk around it, and I had my best friend there who is actually he's trying to get his head around a lot of things, but I when it comes to business, he's more into it more than myself. So I had him there to help me out, push me, and yeah. So before the business school, I already know how to do a whole lot of things, but I will always say that the business school brought this clarity to me on how to not actually how to learn those words per se, but it brought clarity, a whole lot of clarity to me, how to do things. These are things I know I've been doing. Do you understand? But it taught me a clearer way or easier way, a less stressful and very easier way to actually do that same thing that I've been doing for 1 year plus and not getting results. Just 3 months into Future Female Business School, I had a lot of clarities, and I actually started doing things in a more, would I say, more right way. Fem Code Africa became more structured than it was before the business school. So why am I saying this? So I think no matter how much, like I said, I've been running Fem Code Africa for 1 year plus before entering into the business school. I think no matter what kind of experience we have out there, it's actually okay to actually um get to learn those things. Whether you're learning from a business school or you are buying the course on Coursera or Udemy or Audacity to learn them, but I think it's very, very important. So, Mr. Charles, what do you think? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, entrepreneurship definitely can be done on textbook, right? We can, watch YouTube videos and read textbook and automatically become successful entrepreneurs. So, in 2018, I learned something very important at the Slush Accelerator program. So, it is what that says, fail as fast as you can. That's the word, right? Fail as fast as you can. Because once you fail, you know what works and what doesn't work. Investors are more keen to invest in second time founders because they know that first time is always full of lessons to learn. So we have so many programs, right? It's true that the programs can't be ruled out. The Startup School by Y Combinator, Savvy Program by Chidi and his team. We have different, books and programs out there. So they give you clarity, like what to do, did this and do that. But everything happens in the market. So, for example, the first company I actually tried to start was Chronic Care. It was a health tech startup. So we did so many things out of ignorance and what we read in the book. So many customer acquisition strategy here and there. We are moving and we are pushing and doing stuff,
What am I
right?
feeling like you want to side Mr. Chede right now?
No, it's true. I mean, it's true. Look, we had lots of money pushed into billboards, all that, but they did not work. So now, currently, if you give me money now, I'm not going near billboard because I know that is not where it's that's not where the stuff is going to happen, right? Because I know what works better, right? So it's all about starting and failing to become successful, and in as much I think connections, not only connections, network effects to network help to be successful, not going solo. So for example, I am inexperienced and I'm trying to walk around this. I find those who are experienced in that field to help me push it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
co-founders, very important. Yeah, experienced co-founders, so they too have experience and I'm pushing, we are moving together, and that's where it all starts. So success in entrepreneurship all starts in doing. Just start, just do and fail. You don't be scared to fail. Do fail. And that one becomes, you know what happens and you know how to fix it. So I think the jargons Mr. Chidi mentioned, they're also very important to know. I mean, like, to actually succeed, when you see these paystack guys, people raising pre-seed funds here and there, they're doing this and they're doing
Okay.
that. It's not actually by chance. Like it's a combination of things they've done over time to position themselves to that kind of effect. So learning always works every time. You're learning about CAC, cost acquisition, customer acquisition cost, about the churn rate, learning about the customer life cycle value. So you're trying to learn all these things to position yourself to get investors or to get meaningful people join your team. So you have two entrepreneurs starting the same company, and A is raising funds and is growing, is selling, is eating, and you're still there and you wonder what's happening. It's about, it's obvious, like the other person is trying to push and move and learn and do things while you're not doing those things. And that's what I think. So for me, So during, I think there's this particular young man, I've forgotten his name, but he came from Finland for that program. So he stood in front of the section. I think we were like nine startups who were part of that program. He said, I'm leaving from Nigeria back to Finland tomorrow, but I want to give all of you a license to fail. So we took license to fail on that particular day. His notion is, when you failed and you come back for me for help, I'll listen to you. So always have a license to fail. Don't be scared of failing. So fail fast, learn fast, and move. That's how to be successful in the industry. But from any other factor, but I think for me, just doing the stuff and failing and learning from it.
Okay, so before I ask you yours, I really want to know, Mr. Chidi, what's your definition of failing or failure? Because you guys are not talking about failure, failure, failure. I'm scared because I don't know. My business has not failed to that part. So I want to know what's your definition of failing? Because everybody has just been hammering. You have to fail first, you have to fail first. So let me know if I'm actually safe right now because I don't know. My legs are actually shaking. So what's your definition of failing or failure?
Well, for me, failure is just when you decided to just throw in the towel and say, okay, I'm done. Because the moment you're still doing something, even if you're not making money,
Oh,
but you're constantly doing it, then you've not failed yet. Nobody can say you failed because you're still in business, even if you're burning investors' cash and you're running loss. But the moment you say, okay, I think this is quit, I need to move on to something else, then obviously you failed. But to me, I don't believe that there's any such thing as failure, because once you're able to learn from it and you're able to pick a lesson or two from it, then you did not fail. It's more like an experiment. So I studied physics in school, and so I have the scientist understanding. So I look at failure more as scientists will look at negative experimental
yeah,
results. When
experiment. Yes, they tell you
when,
use experiment one.
exactly. So when a scientist carries out an experiment, there's no such thing as right or wrong result. The
Yeah.
idea about the experiment is just to see what happens and infer, understand, to make more intelligent, decisions. So that's the same thing about business. Once you do something, if you did not scale and you just you ran out of cash and then and you're like, okay, I think I need to shut down this business. You did not fail. You just carried out. You just had a negative result, and that result means that maybe you're going to try in the future some other way. But failure to me is success as long as you're able to learn from it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm scared. Like I said. Mr. Trust, please, what's your definition of failure? Before I get to say what I want to say. What's your definition?
Well, before I answer that, I want to also note that entrepreneurs need to, real entrepreneurs have mastered the art of humility, pride, leaving pride behind, So we see, um, some founders who, it's clear that this thing is not working, right? But they are still pushing, like, because they're scared of, oh, I was called the CEO before and now I'm dropping all this kind. So it doesn't, I mean, that's one thing for me first, right? So um, it's
Ah,
definitely like Mr. Chidi said. Failure. It's about learning. So it's not like failure, but you've learned. Gathered. It's more like experience. Experience time. Like you're carrying experience. You're learning. So once it didn't work, you have experience to push the next step. I know of a particular co-founder who founded something. I've really forgotten the name of the startup. But that didn't work. They ran for like 3 years. It didn't work, and so they all dissolved the team. And he moved to becoming the CMO of a successful startup. I think they just had the pre-seed, not pre-seed. They had a second, that Series A round for funding some many months ago. And so, why did he get to that position? Because if they're coming to you and said, "I'm the founder of this and this," like coming to that C-level executive position with that amount of experience gave him an advantage, right? Because he knows how to push things. And I think that, like Mr. Chidi said, it's not like failure, but then you're learning, and you just have to know. So when do you know you failed, right? When you know it's not working. Like first year, the revenue is not much. Okay, you're still pushing. Second year, no. Third year, no. Fourth year, no. We are burning money and resources, It's not working. It's not working, right? Let's move to something else, right? That's, that you're learning in the process, and then the next one won't be so bad.
Mr. Chidi, do you need business? Is it compulsory that a business needs to, or someone that is running a business needs to fail for the person to learn how to run a business? Because I
Oh,
have read your bio, Mr. Chidi, and I know that you have a series of businesses that have failed in the past, right?
oh yeah.
I've read
I
Mr. Trust bio. He has a series of business. I know he has done budgets. I know he has done this health one he has mentioned. And yeah, I don't know if budget actually failed, but I know that he's no longer in it, and now he's the CEO and the co-founder of Rafa Academy. So must the business get to fail before you are being termed as a successful business owner? So what do you have to
Nope,
say, Mr. Chede?
not at
Nope.
all. No,
Mr.
I
Trust,
just
no.
you can, if you fail, that's fine. Some people repeat classes, before they are promoted to another class. Does not mean if you get
Okay.
it the right time that you're not successful. So you don't have
Okay.
to have failed businesses before
Ah,
you turn
my
successful.
chest. My chest. I don't know. I just feel like because I've not actually had any business that failed in the past. And as you were just talking about failure, my mind was seriously hitting. Like, oh God, so I really need to fail before I am in town that a successful business owner. The truth is, both entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, none of them is actually easy. It's not actually easy. So you're actually running out of time. We have 10 minutes to go, but I'm very sure I'm going to steal some of your time. But before that, I really want to know, please, Mr. Chide, someone comes to you right now telling you that he wants to start as an entrepreneur. What advice will you give to the person? Please exhaust all your options, please.
Yeah, okay. The truth is that
Oh, wait, please. Why did you laugh? Please, why is it funny? That's why
because
I'm interested.
people go into entrepreneurship for the wrong reasons. So
Okay.
some people, because maybe Chidi is traveling, maybe he's in France today, he's in the US tomorrow, and he raised this amount of money, and he drives an expensive car. So you want to be an entrepreneur? That's a very bad motive. Trust me, because once it doesn't happen to you for the first, second, third month, fourth month, you're tired because
Yeah, exhausted.
when you're driven by money or the result, trust me, you get burnt out very quickly. But once you're driven by the passion, this is what you're passionate about. Even if the money does not come as fast as you want, you enjoy
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. You enjoy the process. So even if you're failing, or you're not getting the results, you find yourself keep doing it because you enjoy what you're doing. So I'll just tell you that if you want to be an entrepreneur, I would tell you make sure that whatever industry you go into, it's something that you have passion for, you have love for, and you don't feel like you're working. The moment you feel like you're working and this is exhausting, then it's definitely you're going to get burnt out very quickly. For example, people always ask me, Chidi, why haven't you done anything in the agri space? And that's because, to be sincere with you, I don't have any interest in that industry. I'm not saying it's a bad industry. It's amazing because it's the bedrock of almost everything. Trust me,
Yeah.
agri-tech is a very interesting industry, but not
And
interesting
it's
for
easy to
me.
get funded. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's not interesting for me. It's not something I love doing, and I will not do it because somebody raised a grant and somebody raised funding there. I will do it because I love doing it, and I don't have any interest in it, so I'm not going to go into it. I will do something that I'm passionate about. Something that if I stand and I talk about, you can sense that passion in my voice. When I'm speaking to an investor about what I'm doing, they understand that even if Chidi walks away from here and they don't give me any money, that this guy is still going to continue doing what he's doing because
Continue
he's
doing it.
passionate about it. So, once you tell me you want to be an entrepreneur, actually, is this something that you're passionate about? If it's something you're not passionate about, it's because of you saw somebody get into a fellowship program and you're like, you got into Mandela, Washington. You're an Acumen fellow. Oh, that's great. I want to be part of this. How do I become part of this? And they said, oh, you have to have a business. And then you're like, oh, let me go have a business so I can come back and apply.
God.
You are just making a very big mistake. You know,
Yes.
you're going to regret it. So I'll just say get into entrepreneurship for the right reasons.
And don't forget to solve a problem at all.
Yeah.
Not just about passion, try to solve a problem because that's actually what pays you. Mr.
And fall
Trust
in
in
love
your
with the problem.
query.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
so
falling in
the
love with
most
the
important part is just
problem.
fall in love with the problem, not the solution you're building. The moment you love what you're
Yeah,
building, you're going to fail. Yeah.
exactly. Because even if someone gets to tell you that what you're building is wrong or doesn't make sense, you still be telling the person, this is nice. You try to convince the person of what the I think I had that experience when I watched Dragon Shell. You remember that? I don't know. Do you follow that program? Mr.
I
Trust, I
oh,
think you do. You see the program, right? Am I correct?
Dragon's Den. Den,
Dragons
yeah.
Den, yeah. Dragons Den. I don't know if you see it. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs come and in front of investors, you get to pitch your problem and you get funded from any of them there or all of them there. So I think there's this guy that came up with building I think the first person was what's it called? Ch- is it Navigator Light or is it I don't really know what he came up. I can't really remember because it's been a while. But you were trying to tell him that what he brought up it's useless because there are so many persons that are actually building far more better things that are more better than him because he loves his product so much and he's so confident in what he built and he was even trying to tell them no 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 no, look at what I'm trying to make. So not just the problem, sorry, not just the solution, the problem, fall in love with it. Sorry, Mr. Trust, if I've actually I don't know. Did I come into your own advice? Please, sorry. So what's
No,
your own
no.
advice? Sorry. So what advice are you giving to someone who wants to start up?
Well, if first if their imagination is to if a typical day for them is going to be like this, right? So they wake up in the morning and they feel like I need to go to work today by 10, right? And then they strolled off then and they walking down the office and they come late anytime they want to come late because they want to be the bosses. They want to tell fire this person. Why are you there? Do this and that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
put CEO on their profile.
Mm.
So if that's why they're coming here, then don't come at all because it's going to end in tears, right? Because it's not the way it happens. So being an entrepreneur doesn't make you boss free because it's that's even where most of the work comes in, right? Because
Exactly. They don't understand. They
you're going
don't.
to be doing lots of stuff. You're managing people. You're doing this. I mean, it's not. I mean, if you're escaping the employee life because you feel having your own business will make you, like be free somehow. It doesn't work like that for at least for the
Doesn't.
first few years of that startup trying to move around. So my advice first is have passion for the problem you want to solve. That's one, and always be willing to learn, and don't be so stingy on your ideas in terms of flexibility. So if you are doing audio before and then feedback is audio is not working, let's do video, and you're like, no, 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 it's audio I want. I like audio. I mean, the customer are saying, it's video we want. Okay, it's pushing audio, right? And it just doesn't make any sense for that to work, right? So that's the advice I would give, right? Come into the industry for the right reason. Be flexible, right? Look at what is working. Be flexible, learn, and then that's one. I think that's one for me. Like coming for the right, as Mr. Chidi said, oh, Chaka just raised pre-seed of the unicorns. They sold the Paystack sold for this amount of money. I want to sell my own. I want to do this one. That's not the right reason to come into the industry. And also coming knowing your strengths too. As a very interesting thing. Coming knowing your strengths as well. All right. So if you have no background in agriculture or have no background in certain startup ideas, if you can't find a co-founder, I want to do it. For example, chronic care failed because one, I'm not a health person, right? I tried looking for doctors. I found one, but then she wasn't really too stable. So I would not say because I want to build health tech, I can register medicine course in UNN, or whatever, to go and learn and come back and build. So I know I have no expertise in health, and if I don't find a team around that is going to be a failure. And so
Yeah. Sure.
That's one thing, be willing to learn, collaborate with people, and move around it to come with the right reasons, passionate about the problem you're solving. I think it's going to go from there. And also be patient, right? Patience is key. Patient. 6 months doesn't make you go and sell your startup, and exit out. 1 year doesn't. Just stay patient, take it one by one bit at a time. You get there.
Yes, very correct. Please, that's being stingy with your idea. Very necessary. Like very, very necessary. If this was 1 year ago, I would have told you, please don't come to the corners. Come out and talk to me directly. Because that was one of the reasons I all of the all of the problems I had. I was no, this is what I wanted. This is how I wanted it to be. And even when it wasn't working at some point, because of that was what I was used to, what I know and what I was comfortable with, and that was the route I was taking, even when I saw that things weren't working out. So please, as much as possible, to those listening, don't 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 be stingy with your ideas. Try, and I for me, I say that a business or an entrepreneur don't really have one business model unless you are stable. You're very, very stable. But when you're starting up, you always keep changing things, because just like Mr. Chidi said, if you after your fancy word learning and everything, and you actually go out there to see things for yourself and forget about the environment where they teach you all these fancy things and how to write it on paper. Now, this is when you come out and walk around it in real life. You notice that things are not actually the way they are supposed to be, or the way that you are taught. That it's how easy you are taught is supposed to be. So you notice so many things. So you keep changing. So if you try A and it didn't work out for you, keep changing until you get a suitable business plan or model for your business. And yeah, so you can now use that and you can run with that. And yep. So do you have any other thing to say, Mr. Chide? Do you have any other thing to say?
Nope.
Mr. Trust, do you have any other thing to say? So are you open for someone asked, I don't know if it's a she or a he, but the question is, are you open for mentorship?
No.
Okay, that got to me. Actually, that got to me. I say that got to me. Okay.
The reason why is I I really have time for myself, and I don't want to disappoint anybody by taking in thing or promising what I can do. To say I'm going to like personally mentor somebody, it will be almost impossible to do. I could do that maybe 4 or 2 years ago, but these days it's getting difficult for me to have time to do that kind of thing. So if somebody wants my mentorship, I'll just tell you, please go sign up, go apply to Savvy program, and if you get accepted, then fine. If you don't get accepted, then fine as well, because I don't think I can promise what I can't offer.
Yeah,
Maybe
I can
just
I believe that. I believe
can
that too. I
can
believe
open
that.
his hands to them. But
I
I don't
knew what it took me to get you to this table, like this particular table, to talk about this topic. I had to change my time over and over and over again. I was like, the last time you told me, can we? I was like, oh my god, please don't say this right now, please. And then you still said it. I was like, okay, fine. Can we do it by 9? Is that okay with you? And yes, even by 9, I was looking at my time, and my eyes was on my WhatsApp. I was like, please don't come up and say no again, please. Okay, it's nice. Yeah. So Mr. Chidi said, I don't know if you're listening or you watch this later. Mr. Chidi said he's not open for mentorship. That's strong. Okay. Mr. Trust Onyekwere, are you either open for mentorship? Okay, this scratch on the head for me. Okay. So what's your own answer this time?
No, no, not entirely. No, I'm not. Well, if I was like Mr. Chidi, I mean, it would be easy to say go to savvy programs, because that's my stuff. That's like that's where
Okay.
most of it I'm going to say, or what I'm going to guide you on is already there, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to follow that route too. Like personally, maybe not, right? But directions, go here, go here. I think that's fine. I mean, at this point in time.
Okay, so your names are these names that showing here on across your platforms, right? I think for Mr. Chidi on Twitter, you five is it 5 or 4 was added to your username, right? On
Yeah,
Twitter.
but if you search for Chidi Ogu, you'll still find me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's with a mic and his hand is like this. So that's how he is on his profile picture.
That's a
Across
very bad. It's a very bad description because I can change my profile photo anytime.
Oh yeah, damn. So what are we going to do about that? So if you're searching tonight before he changes it, so once you go there,
Okay.
he's with a mic and his hands are linked. So that is him on the profile. So search for him and yeah, but if you can't get him, I think once you search for his name on Google, you are going to get all the details you need and the link you need to get to find him. Same with Mr. Trust Onyekwere, and he has a book. Ah, God, that book is so nice. Coding is not enough. If you're a
Yeah, yeah.
developer and you've not read that book, I think you should go and read it. Don't worry, don't before you start preaching. Calm down.
No, not
So let me
preaching.
preach. Let me preach my first. Let me do that first. So I'm kind of trying to wrap up this. So just like they've said, try as much as possible not to be stingy with your idea. Try as much as possible to know that being an entrepreneur does not mean that you're the boss, because literally you're actually the slave of the company, because you are actually the one, the headache, the frustration, the burnout, everything comes to you directly. And you managing people, that's another work, different work altogether. Where you get to manage a whole lot of different individuals and way people reason and stuff like that. You're going to get frustrated at some point, and you're going to get burned out, and you're going to feel sad at some point. But just know that the journey is not actually easy. We've been there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm feeling like right now, but I'm proud to say that we've been there. We know how it feels like. So myself and my bosses, so we've been there. We know what it feels like. So just try and take it easy. Follow the directions of just they have just said. And if you have questions, I don't know, Mr. Chid, is your DM open for direct messages? Do
Yeah,
you
as long as you don't just send hello. If you send hello, I'm not responding.
Same here, I don't too. So no hello, no hi, no good evening, sir. Please. Good evening, sir. My name is this. State your reasons very well. Let it be obvious so that if he's replying, he knows what to reply. And yeah, he also goes straight to the point. So, Mr. Trust on your query, is your DM also open for messages in case someone wants to reach out to you?
Yes, yes. It's still the same. Still the same as Mr. Chidi. Straight to the point.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you very much for.
I just want to state that I am more interested in software developers who want to turn entrepreneurs. That's why I want to talk about my book, because that's actually my focus, right? Yeah,
Okay.
developers who want to turn entrepreneurs. Then I think that's fine.
Yeah, so like I said, he's an author of a book. Coding is not enough, and his main focus is on developers that want to turn entrepreneurs. For myself, I am gender biased. Yes, just females. That's who I deal with. So if you're not a female, please, please stay away from my DM. Though I can help you anyways and give you guidelines on who to reach out to, but I am gender biased and I focus mainly on females. And my company, it's a tech education company too, so we do tech related stuff. So, and it's mostly for females. So yeah, you're a female, you're free to shoot your shot, and you have my 110% attention whenever I get to see your message. So it takes me 2 to 3 days to reply messages on my social media. Takes me almost 1 week to reply on Facebook, because I'm not really a Facebook person. But on Twitter, on LinkedIn, take me 2 to 3 days to kind of reply messages there. So feel free to reach out to me. Then on this video, it takes me 2 days to come back to the comment sections and read. So if you have a comment or problem or a question, just drop it there. I'll go through it and I'll get back to you. So thank you very much, Mr. Chidi, for seeing this table fit to have you on it. Thank you so much. It's actually been an honor to have you here. Like I said, I wish to see you one day, one on one, so that you can lay your anointed hands on my head and say, "Receive it." And yeah, I'm going to receive it and be like
Okay.
you. So I don't know any last word from you before you go off.
Well, last word. Like what?
Like anything, do it. Go out there,
Ah,
receive it.
let's move forward. Well, I just say that success is some of what you do every day. It does not. You just don't have to do something remarkable at once. You could just keep doing great, good things every day. Just show up and keep doing your best, and who knows where it's going to take you to. So don't be so pressured to do one super big thing. As long as you're just doing what you're doing every day consistently, trust me, one day.
Thank you. Oh, that's so touching. Wow. Okay, so Mr. Trust, yeah. So kudos to you too. I've been seeing what you've been doing there for Academy, and I'm so envious of you. And so before we get to see, and you also lay your anointed hand on me too. Do you have any other thing, any final words you want to see? You want to give out there?
Yeah, just first, entrepreneurship is not for everybody, so don't feel pressured. 9 to 5 is still a big thing. So if you really want to go into the entrepreneurship road, just pick a spot, focus on one thing, focus on one thing. Don't get too trapped of doing 10 things at the same time. Focus on one thing, consistency, and then things will happen from there.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So, to the persons that know Shola Table Talk Show as a show that has a female represented, that has females represented and males represented, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, but I'm here for us. I'm here representing us. Yeah, I'm strongly representing us. So, thank you so much, Mr. Chidi, for having to yeah, from your busy schedule. And thank you so much, Mr. Trust, for being here too. I can't thank the both of you enough. Thank you so much and do have a wonderful evening. Take
Yeah,
care.
right.
Bye. Yeah, bye. Okay, yeah. So that is it, right? Ah, good. That was actually I don't want to use the word powerful section because I think that's my normal word. So I think I'm going to use that's a touching section for entrepreneurs because it's not really that easy to have entrepreneurs there running a business, trying to be better, trying to make sure that your business stays out there successful, and yeah, it's not that easy. I can state so many times I've been in my room crying, thinking, having sleepless nights, and trying to make my business work and for it to be where it is today. It's 2 wonderful years of happiness and struggle. That is the truth. But out there, people will always tell you about how successful they have been running their businesses, but they actually try to omit the pain they pass through to get the business where it is today and get it running where it is today. So no matter how successful you see them on social media, please don't forget that entrepreneurship is not always like that. There's always pain. There's always heartbreak, there's always burnout out there, there's frustration there to attach to it at some point. Depends on your business and depends on the level of money you have, or the level of bootstrapping, yeah, money you have to bootstrap, that actually reduces your own side of the stress. But if you actually started up like me, with nothing, and it's not actually that easy. So I understand all of you perfectly, and I just want you to have this final words at heart, that entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not. Forget the fancy pictures we see online, forget the fancy motivation talks we hear from successful founders. But the truth is, if they can tell us, they will also tell you that it's not an easy thing. It's not easy to actually run a business to be where it is. You see them that particular time successful. So they have actually had a whole lot of things. If you think of Facebook, you think of Amazon, read their stories, you know that their founders actually went through shit for them to get to where they are today. So that is it. So just be at the back of your mind that, yeah, that's just the truth. So, like I said, this is a very emotional section. So, if you're a founder, you can actually relate to every one of what we just said here. So, just take your time when you think things are not working out. Before you try to shut down your business, try to change your business model and see if it's where the problem is coming from. Try to know who your customers are, get to know your business acquisitions very well, and then get to know, because just like Mr. Chidi said, there's a difference between what is written on the paper and what is in the actual real life. Like, so it's very different. So forget the paper, forget how smart you think you're looking on the paper, and go out there and do things. Feel like Mr. Choi said, feel, come back, and when you fail, use the definition of Mr. Chede, that is not failure, is actually a means for you to get to be better, to do things more better, right? So just use that definition, and I think things will actually work out for good. Thank you very much for staying up to this point. 1 hour and 12 minutes. Wow, that's actually a very long time. So we're talking about entrepreneurship. So thank you very much for having to join this section. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And yeah, it's our time to talk about the next table talk show. So the next table talk show is going to be about tech. So this is business. The next one should be tech, right? So we'll be talking about data science, AI, machine learning with Python. And we're going to have two experts, just like we had today, come on the table and talk to us about this thing. So why am I not excited? Because we're talking about entrepreneurship. I don't know, but yeah, so I won't forget my dance. So normally, yeah, so this is the dance here. Even though this is an emotional section, but then my dance be added to the video. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next 2 weeks, Saturday. Take care. Bye.